Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right. Now I know what Declan was asking me right before we hit the mics. Phil, do you need a minute to pull the Write That Down spreadsheet up?
And you're
Yes,
like, oh,
I
we're
do.
good. So I just figured during
I thought you meant the ad spreadsheet.
I just interpreted like, oh, I'm fine, as in like, oh, you know what, it still takes 15 to 20 seconds to get the intro and everything loaded, and in that time period, Phil will pop it on the screen, and we're getting to the end. I'm like, he had no idea that I was talking about something different.
I completely forgot. So I'm pulling that up now so we can have the Write That Down accountability session on the screen for the YouTube audience. This is the only show in America that's dumb enough to put actual statistics next to our predictions every single Wednesday.
Write this down.
Hold each other accountable.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
We call it Write That Down. And with just over a week until the NFL draft, I'm guessing there's going to be some draft-themed predictions here. We'll have to find out. Jub, before we get to the accountability session and set up Write That Down for the audience, tell the audience about Quick Trip.
Quick Trip. What can I say about this place? Let me think. You know what? It's your one-stop shopping for everything you can possibly need. I mean, look at right there. So let's say you're stopping a Quick Trip on the way home from work tonight to fill up the tank, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I need to go grocery shopping. I need to make a separate trip. Oh, no, you don't. Like, first of all, look at all of the items there, the delicious chicken choices. But you also can go grocery shopping right after you get your gas by walking in Quick Trip. Milk, bread, produce, anything that you need for that shopping trip. I'm going to tell you right now, Quick Trip probably has it. It's as Declan can tell you, because there's one right down the street from Dex. Yes. Quick Trip, right, Dex? Everything?
There's like 6 Quick Trips here, and you're almost in Wisconsin and Woodbury. They're everywhere. I can throw baseballs all over the place, and it'll land at a Quick Trip. Yes, it is my one-stop shopping for the quality glass link guarantee. I always stop in there before the golf round to pick up some Powerades before I go. Love my Quick Trip.
That is it. That's the key to life, folks, and that is Quick Trip.
Hey, also, just to shout this out, so we have planned, so obviously the draft party at the Fillmore on Thursday next week is sold out. But we are planning the next day, April 26th, a Purple Daily Day 2 of the draft happy hour. Kind of a pregame happy hour at 3 Jack in the North Loop in Minneapolis, which is just like walking distance from Element Hotel, the Fillmore, if you're staying in the area. So mark your calendars, Friday, April 26th, 3 to 5 p.m. Come hang out with us. Talk about the first night, whatever the hell happens next Thursday. We're going to be talking about it, just not even on the microphones. We just want to meet up with listeners and viewers of Purple Daily. It is free to get into this happy hour at 3 Jack, but you do have to register for a free ticket. scorenorth.com/happy hour. That's scorenorth.com/happy hour, and be some of the first people to try 3 Jack's new spring happy hour menu. So, we're going to have some giveaways. We're going to have some other fun things, but it's just going to be a fun sort of casual happy hour at 3 Jack the day after the first round, leading into the second round. We're going to be streaming live at some point during the second and third rounds. We haven't really planned that yet because they don't have a pick right now on day 2, but we will be providing content on that Friday, and we'd love to hang out with you at 3 Jack, 3 to 5 p.m. Friday, April 26th, scorenorth.com/happy hour.
You're saying schmooze and booze?
Schmooze and booze, yes.
Drink responsibly, but I love that idea.
Exactly. So, okay, let's get into how this works. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. On this edition of Write That Down, we keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. And listeners, if you want to be like Dustin and jump in as a guest listener predictor, you can send us a message through the Score North app, and we'll get you on the show here. Judd, are you ready to be held accountable first and foremost?
With the way my season's going so far, no, but I have to be, so let's see it. Oh, okay.
You're lucky nothing came off the board for you. It's that time of year where not a lot of things are coming off the board.
Just wait.
Unless you're making UFL predictions. So still on the board for you, in the absence of things coming off the board, we're going to highlight some things that are still on the board. You said the Vikings will open the season with a starting quarterback who is not Kirk Cousins. So you've got that part of the parlay.
Okay.
And they will score a touchdown on their opening drive. So now you're just kind of waiting, whether it's Sam Darnold or Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix. You're just waiting for the first drive to see if you can complete this.
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah. Jordan Travis.
Oh, boy. So many options right there. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Pretty good.
All right. I said the Vikings will indeed meet with Jaden Daniels before the draft. It is scheduled for this week. If somehow they don't meet, we'll take this off the board. But
yeah. And that would need to come out as well, so you're pretty safe.
Listeners had nothing come off the board, so we'll highlight a prediction still on the board. Leighton said Kirk's final play as an NFL player will be in a Vikings jersey. Now, this stays on the board until he plays a play with the Falcons. Yeah, I mean, you never know.
Well, hold on a second, though. Wouldn't this stay
we
on the board for the entirety until he retires?
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
Didn't we talk about this? I think when it happened, or like it then came back up on a Feedback Friday, and I think even lawyer Chase potentially weighed in on this and said, "Yeah, we have to keep this until
he retires." Pretty much, yeah.
Yep.
Final play boxes Leighton in a bit, because what if Kirk retires and then signs a one-day contract because he loved his time here?
It wouldn't count
so much. It wouldn't count because he said final play.
Yep. Is there any chance, what would have to happen for him to sign a one-day contract to retire as a Viking? I don't think that's...
I don't even
think
there's in the cards.
Scenario.
No, I was being a smart ass, but it sounded sort of good.
And then Declan had a 3-item UFL parlay. The Brahmas beating the Battlehawks. Well, that didn't happen. Stallions over the Showboats, Panthers over the Roughnecks.
Them's are the parlay breaks, man. That's what happens when you
did the last
kids.
two?
I have no idea, but I just saw that the Battlehawks beat the Brahmas.
Did you look at them all? Well, that's hilarious. Yeah.
It's all you need for the parlays. I don't need to do the rest of the research there. So with that, Declan with a 45.5% completion percentage is atop the leaderboard. I'm at 43.8%. Listeners at 40%. Judd at 33.3%. All of us have one touchdown on the season. Declan, 36.5% career completion percentage, stats going back to 2021. Judd, 35.1%. I'm at 33.5%. Listeners, just under 23%. I have the most touchdowns at 47, but I feel like Declan and the listeners are coming on strong there. So that's the accountability session here. So let's get our guy in here. Dustin, our guest listener predictor. What's going on? Welcome back to the show, Dustin.
Appreciate you guys having me. I'm excited to get some of these predictions on the board. I think I have some interesting ones today, so can't wait to share them with you.
Very nice.
This might be a dumb question if I'm wrong here. Are you Dustin from TikTok?
I am. That
Okay.
Vikings fan I'm known as, yeah.
Dude, so Dustin does awesome TikTok content and how many followers are you up to now on TikTok?
17.8 thousand.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Dude,
So-
Dustin's rocking it. If you're a Vikings
Wonderful.
fan, throw your handle out again for people that aren't following you.
So it'll be at that Vikings fan, all one word.
Yeah, he's killing it. He's building TikTok. He is representing Vikings fans on modern communication technology platforms. So Judd, let's get the king of Score North TikTok,
I
Judd
love the
Zulgad,
talk.
and Dustin to
Dustin
do a
and
collab.
I, we're like brothers. Love the talk.
Appreciate it.
Now the hat that you have on, I'm not so sure about these days, but the Wild, it's a little bit of a lost cause.
To tell you the truth, I got this hat just because I went to one Wild game. That was back last February, and I'm really not a huge hockey fan. I went to one game. I'll go to some games, but I wouldn't consider myself a fan. I know that they missed the playoffs this year, which is pretty much on cue for Minnesota sports. But
Yes.
yeah, I'll rock it. It's a nice hat.
It's a nice hat.
It
I
is.
like
It's very
that hat.
sleek. Yeah, the
Yeah, it's a
white.
nice
I
hat.
like the.
I'd
It's a
golf
very
in that
sleek
hat.
hat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an Unreal hat too.
Oh,
That's
there you
Unreal.
go.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
that was
Okay, we're
nice.
repping
I saw a
yes,
Wolves
the
one
Unreal
the other
hoodie
day,
on
too.
today.
That was nice.
Oh yeah.
So, well, welcome back to the show here, Dustin. What are you feeling going into the draft here? Do you have any wants, any wishes, any gut feelings 8 days out?
I was going to ask you guys the same question too. So, I'm kind of leaning towards trading up and getting a guy like Drake May. I feel like this is one of those drafts that you just got to take a big swing. And, if you miss, we won't know if we miss, 3 years down the road. So, I think this is the perfect time to get your guy a quarterback, and I sitting at 11 and 23 just doesn't do it for me. If they even trade back, I think all Vikings fans will, like you said on a previous episode, that all Vikings fans will riot, and I don't think that's a super great idea, but I think all the ducks are in a row to get their quarterback of the future.
Yeah, it does. The Drake May thing is so interesting. We've kind of talked about this the last week and a half. It feels like he's getting the most hammered on the evaluation, and he's the one that is sort of slipping down. It looks like now maybe J.J. McCarthy is jumping over him in a lot of instances. Is that just... Are there a bunch of teams that actually love Drake May and his potential, and they're trying to put the word out that, like, this guy's got bad footwork. Look at how many passes he throws into the dirt. But they really believe that he could be Josh Allen in like 2 years. And obviously we aren't going to know what the Vikings think for several days. But it's a little suspicious that all the Drake May slander is coming out over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, and one thing I was going to add too is looking back at like the Peter Schrager mock drafts and all the guys that have their inside inputs and all that, inside information, I don't doubt that they have that because they're credible and all that, but how much do they really get out there? Because I don't know how much teams, give them, their draft plans. So, a lot of it can be smoke screens. I don't know if they're saying, hey, we're aiming to get Drake May, so, put this in your mock drafts. I doubt they're doing that. But, they can say, yeah, we like this group of D tackles. We're probably going to target that, something like that. But, yeah, I don't know how much teams are really sharing with these guys. So it's pretty interesting to see all those mock drafts.
Yeah. I think the top guys actually go to other teams and personnel people to ask about other teams. So, like, I don't think it comes from the Vikings per se. I think it comes from people that the Vikings have talked to because the team is going to lie. And in their defense, they should lie. But, yeah, Drake May, I think right now, if you're a draft fan, it's a really good time to get in the eye of the storm because there's just a hurricane of crap blowing around about the draft. I think now you get in there and seal yourself off from that so that you can have a
hurricane
good
of literal dung.
It's just crap. It's just blowing around. It's just a
get
bunch
yourself
of
into it.
garbage. I want to get in the middle of that so I'm not being hit by the shrapnel of the
you don't want to be
hurricane.
in the actual crap winds. You're in the eye of it, so it's
Right.
all
The eye of the
crap is
hurricane.
sort of
It's
spinning
calm.
around you. Yeah,
It's calm. I can do shows in a calm, safe place.
So with that, let's throw it to Dustin for his first prediction. We'll go around the room 3 different times. They got to be football or show related and quantifiable.
Write this down.
Anything within those parameters is fair game. So Dustin, what's your first prediction?
All right, write that down. My first prediction will be the Vikings will cut or release a starter from the 2023 Vikings team. So I don't know what you guys want to count as starter, whether that's, the PFF, like snap count, minimum snap count or whatever, but just a starter from the Vikings 2023 team.
Like before week 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Before week 1, sorry.
So like a surprise cut. So we could say like someone that started at least 4 or 5 games, like someone that was that's probably the best way to put a parameter on.
Yeah, someone like a CJ Ham or let's see, who else would be like a good starter? There's been so much turnover this past season. Right. It's hard to pick a real starter from that team. But whether that's a guy like Ryan Wright too. He was technically a starter. So I'll say anybody that played over half the games last year.
Okay. Someone who played over half the games last year. We can count that.
Yes.
Okay. Judd?
Write this down.
What's your first prediction?
Yes. Caleb Williams will throw more interceptions than Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, or Drake May this coming season. So he will lead of that. And just to be clear, in college, he actually didn't get picked much. But the NFL is a different league. The NFL is for men. And he's going to be trying to zip the ball all around Soldier Field. So he will throw, so not the 3 combined, but of those 3, he will throw more than any one of those 3, if that makes sense.
Yep.
You said Daniels, May, and McCarthy?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Write this down.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, he's going to have sort of a risk-taking nature to his game, and he's a rookie. He'll probably make a bunch of big time plays and also throw like 17 interceptions.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know. So okay, the Dexter.
All right, let's go with this one first. I'll take a Jaden Daniels prediction too. Write this down. Jaden Daniels will be the second quarterback drafted in this year's draft.
Do you see what's happening today in Washington? So
Yes.
they're bringing in Jaden Daniels and Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, and Michael Penix all at the same time for a visit.
Now, the Vikings used to do that with all 30 players that they could bring in at
Like at the
once.
same time.
At
Yeah.
the same time to see how it's literally like a kindergarten experiment.
Just go put him in a room and say, just
Or
like,
like,
roll a
Or
football
speed
out there.
dating. It's like speed
Yeah.
dating. You're just going to the next person on every
Well,
8 minutes. You know, you're switching
Yeah.
chairs.
But you're literally trying to see how they operate around each other, because if somebody's a complete jerk, that's going to hurt them.
It's like the Bachelor or Bachelorette. You just put 30 in a room. Here's a rose. You guys can fight it over. Yeah, you're trying to see like who's the alpha.
Yep.
How do
Exactly.
they interact
That's
with
what
each
they're
other? Who's the beta? Who can we weed out?
it's not
who's
dumb.
the weak link?
It's not dumb. I sort of like it. It'd be great to watch it. I would pay $100 on pay-per-view to watch this.
I think you're just here for the water slide, Drake May. Like, I don't think you're here for anything
like
else.
it. I
I think
wanna
you're
go
just here
home.
for the water
Are you here
slide.
for love?
Yeah.
Or are you just here to grow a social media following? You know, that's the question.
Love it.
Okay. I'm going to make a
Write this down.
sort of a philosophical prediction here that I'm going to try and quantify. So I think that the Vikings have the best situation for quarterbacks compared to all the other situations. So my prediction is going to be the Vikings' collective passer rating. So their collective quarterback passer rating. Whoever starts, whether it's Sam Darnold for all 17 or whether it's like Darnold and J.J. McCarthy, the Vikings' collective passer rating will be higher than Caleb Williams, Drake May. I'll just say will be higher than the 5 highest quarterbacks drafted, not counting the one that the Vikings draft. Does that make sense? So like if the Vikings draft J.J. McCarthy, then the Vikings collective passer rating would be higher than Caleb Williams, Drake Mays, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, or Bo Nix, whoever the other 5 quarterbacks are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Write it down.
Write this down.
Back to Dustin.
Awesome. All right. So was the last one just a completion or a touchdown, you think? For the putting a starter.
I think
I think
I'm trying to think of the surprise cuts
Yeah.
of guys who I think it's probably a touchdown.
But
It'd
if
be
it's-
like a surprise cut, right?
Well, but like if it's Ryan Wright,
Yeah,
I don't think
I-
that's a touchdown. He
Yeah.
had a bad
it is,
year, and he
personally.
probably
I think it's
just
a good chunk play, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's
Okay.
a touchdown. There's too many
Yeah,
people to choose
it's
from.
an explosive play, but it's not quite
Sure.
a touchdown.
Okay, awesome. All right, so for my second one, I think that by the start of next season, so week 1 of the 2025 season, the Vikings will have a uniform change or some type of news that they will have by the start of next year. So whether that's a new face mask, a new alternate uniform, whatever it is, I think they'll have something change within the next year.
Is there something that you guys, we'll start with Dustin on this. Is there something that they haven't done uniform wise that you would love to see them do?
There's two of them come to mind. I would like to see like a white face mask, kind of like what the Browns are doing now. I don't know if you guys saw those or not.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or even like a all white helmet. I feel like would be cool, or like an all black uniform, something like that.
Dude, the all black uniform is what, because the Ravens have the all black. The Ravens are purple. They're kind of purple and black, so it makes more sense. But like an all black uniform with a sharp purple helmet, little yellow trim on the black uniform. No, Judd, you look horrified by this idea.
No. I want purple. I want I want the throwbacks back.
Throwbacks to when? Which throwbacks? Like
The ones that they wore in the Favre year in 2000.
the thick stripe
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, or the ones that they wore a couple of times last year. I thought were fantastic.
Yeah, they're they just have a classic look to their uniform going back
Yeah.
a long time. It's kind of like the Yankees, except without the 27 championships.
Write this down.
I've asked this for a long time. You name me a team that changed in that league that changed their uniform and improved it. Maybe the Bengals, because they basically used to have Browns-like nondescript
Interesting
helmets way
question.
back in the day. But I mean,
So Patriots, you don't like the
I
last
love
25 years?
No,
I'm
I
with
love
you.
Pat the Patriot. I love the Broncos' old helmet.
With the like a Bronco jumping through a capital letter D.
Yep, love that one.
What about I like the old Dolphins ones with like was it like a sun kind of weird? I like the newer versions of Dolphins uniforms better than those.
They skinnied up the Dolphin though. The
Yeah,
Dolphin
he's
got skinny.
in better shape.
He's in better shape. I don't like that. Give me the fat Dolphin back. And the creamsicles.
The Lions, their alternate helmet, that line's pretty skinny too. That one's unhealthy looking though. That's
It is.
And we don't. And on this show, we don't condone that. That lion should eat more.
Yeah.
Should go to 3 Jack on April 26th and hang out with us from 3 to 5 o'clock. A little happy hour.
Write this down.
Okay, back to Judd here, right? Second prediction.
Yes. Drake May, whomever he is drafted by, will not play in at least the first 3 games of next regular season. So Drake May, whoever the Vikings might trade up, I don't know. But what I do know is I think he sits to open the season, which is unfortunate because if the Patriots take him, he's going to throw like 9 picks in the first 3 games. But does not play Declan in the first 3 games. Regular season.
I think that sounds like the consensus. Like 2 things can be true: that Drake May probably isn't ready to play right away, and he might have the highest upside of anyone not named Caleb Williams.
Write this down.
Write that down.
Declan.
All right, little parlay here. I'm going to give you the position group that the Vikings will draft their first 3 picks in. So no matter what the combination is, whether it's the 2 first-round picks, just their first 3 picks off the board will be these positions. So the first position will be quarterback, obviously. Quarterback will be their first position off the board, followed by defensive tackle. Third being offensive line.
So in this exact order.
Going for a very specific touchdown parlay here. So quarterback, defensive line, offensive line. Those will be the Vikings' first 3 picks off the board. Write it down.
Okay.
Write that down.
Okay. I'm going to say, write this down. The Vikings will trade up in the first round, but they won't give up either the 23 or the 2025 first round pick. So they'll move up. I don't believe that they are going to go 11, 23, and the 2025 first round pick. I think it's going to be the 11 and the 23 and something else, and they keep the 2025, or it's something creative like the 11 next year's first and something, and you keep so then you get 2 first round picks this year. I think I feel like Kwesi is going to do something a little bit non-linear compared to what everyone else is speculating. So they will trade up in the first round, but they won't give up either the 23rd or next year's 2025 first round pick.
Cool.
All right.
Write that down.
Okay, back to Dustin for his third and final prediction.
Declan, not going to lie, you kind of had me sweating with yours because I almost had that same prediction. I'm not going to use it anymore, but I had mine quarterback, defensive tackle, and then wide receiver. So you had me sweating with that last one, but I think I'll switch it up. I think that Aaron Jones will play more than 10 games this year. I know a lot of Packer fans are saying, oh, he's, same with Zadarius Smith when we had him. Oh, enjoy the 3 games that he's going to play. Well, no, he played pretty good when we had him. That is Zadarius Smith. So I think Aaron Jones will play more than 10 games this year.
Yeah.
And stay healthy.
Man, he was the last 5 games for the Packers last year. He was the best running back in the NFL.
Last game, he was awesome.
Yeah. I think he finished the season with like 5 or 6 consecutive 100-yard games, carrying the ball 20 times a game. So he's still got some tread left. Yeah. So great stuff here, Dustin. Good to have you back on the show. Is there anyone in your life that you'd like to thank that helped you get to this peak moment on Purple Daily?
Honestly, I don't know if you guys remember, but I was born and raised in Wisconsin. I just moved to Minnesota just this past year in April. So it's been a little over a year now. I love it here. But, none of my family is a Vikings fan or anything, but I'll kind of go the route I did last time I was on the show and thank my TikTok followers for getting me to this moment as well. With almost 20,000 followers. Yeah, just enjoying every last second of that, and appreciate you guys having me on here.
Awesome, man. Yeah, it's fun to see you crushing it on TikTok, and looking forward to seeing you again, either on the show or over a beer somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
All right,
Thanks,
there he is,
Dustin.
guest listener predictor Dustin, making his second appearance on Write That Down. Before we go and make our final predictions and get to some other fodder and maybe even a mock draft, let's tell the audience about our friends over at Finch Home Solutions, that cavalcade of vans maneuvering around, fixing your electrical systems.
Look at that, pulling out probably this morning. Cody and his team, they every day are there for your, as Phil just said, electrical needs, big or small. Look, Finch can handle anything, and they're going to do it fast. They're going to do it courteous. They're going to do it professionally. Upgrades to current systems. We're talking about electrical servicing. If you have storm damage, guess what? Finch can fix that. Breakers tripping, flickering lights, which can be an indication of a bigger problem. Cody, Finch, and Finch Home Solutions are going to be there for you. In fact, they're running a special right now, which includes $199 for a whole home safety inspection, a value ordinarily $357. Can't beat it. 612-357-2604, 612-357-2604, or finchhomesolutions.com. Nobody wants to keep your home safer more, and nobody loves the Vikings more than the guys and gals at Finch Home Solutions, finchhomesolutions.com.
Amen. Okay, our friends at AG1 are trusted by top athletes all over the world and top sports commentators like yours truly here. I discovered AG1 about 7 years ago. It's a simple, comprehensive, foundational nutrition supplement for whole body health. One glass of water, as you see on the screen here on YouTube, a little scoop of AG1 mixed with a glass of water, or these little travel packs that I have sort of gravitated toward, and you've got all the nutrients that you need throughout the day. Just giving your body those nutrients. Maybe you're not always like super on point with your diet. This is nutritional peace of mind. Each scoop of AG1 contains several different food-sourced ingredients that support gut health, focus, immune health, and more. If there's one product I had to recommend to elevate your health, it's AG1, and that's why I've been such a loyal customer for about 7 years. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/purpledaily. That's drinkag1.com/purpledaily and check it out.
Write this down.
Okay, Judd.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Write this down. Justin Jefferson will not attend the Vikings' mandatory minicamp this spring.
Which is kind of you saying they're not going to have a deal done.
They're not going to have a deal done by then. I just like there's an assumption that, well, when the draft is done, it's going to get done, and I do think I do think it gets done. But here's my thing. They were so close to a deal last year, and we still don't know why it didn't get done, that I think this just assumption of, well, now it gets done. This feels to me like it goes like into training camp or something. Like there's clearly a push and a pull here, right? And it's clearly the Jefferson camp is not getting what they want. And because I went back and looked, Jefferson's comments Super Bowl week were pretty telling about, I want the bag, everybody wants the bag, and I don't blame him one bit. He's not being selfish, but I think we're in a little bit of a different place from last summer when it didn't get done is this one. Up until then, he had never missed a game in his pro career, period. Then he missed, 7 last year? I think he played in 10 games. And now you sort of start to see how fragile things can be. Like, he needs to get paid, and he's going to want to get paid what he wants. So I have a feeling it's not going to be done by minicamp. In fact, let me say this. He will not be on the field. Just to be very clear.
Okay, he won't participate in practice.
Because he could show up,
hang out. Holden
is the new holdout. So just to not screw myself, he won't participate in the minicamp.
Okay. Yeah, that. So I'm on the record with a write that down prediction saying that he won't report to day one of training camp because the problem here is there's really no deadline. If it's a staring contest and he wants this amount of money, and the Vikings only feel comfortable giving him this amount of money,
Correct.
the deadline would be training camp or week 1, and we'd have to go look. Now he's coming off a rookie scale deal, so if he were to miss games, if he were to miss practices in training camp, he's going to get fined, but those fines would be taken away at the end of the standoff, right? Because it's a rookie, he's coming off a rookie scale contract.
Yep.
Okay.
If you're a veteran, you can't. If you're a veteran, you lose those checks.
So he could hold out from training camp and really have no penalty. So it's so interesting. And if you're the Vikings, like I brought this up yesterday. If you feel like there's a gap and you want him back really bad, but he's just not, like, he hasn't signed, right? We're sitting here, It's April 17th. He hasn't signed. Do you wait this out? Do you even like strong arm him and play the franchise tag game after? Like, how far do you take this before you say, well, if someone's going to give us 2 first-round picks, I guess we'll just go that direction. I think they're going to sign him, but it's like every day that goes by and they don't sign him.
You can't just assume it. And the interesting thing too is in the previous, so when Spielman was here, these things ordinarily would have got done last September.
Yeah.
Like they would have gotten close, haggled a little bit, but I mean, the Vikings might have a very big line in the sand here just based on Justin's position. Like we don't know that.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Okay. The Dexter.
All
right. The Deck Man.
Write this down. Last one here. I've lost track there. All right, last one here. At least one of these teams in the last 5 spots of round 1 will trade their first round pick. So those last 5 teams, 28 through 32, are the Bills, Lions, Ravens, Niners, Chiefs. One of those 5 teams, at least one of those 5 teams, will trade their first round pick. Either someone will trade into it, they'll trade back. Or they could maybe one of those teams moves up in the draft. But my point is one of those bottom 5 teams are going to be moving or shaking. I don't care which way they go. But between 28 and 32, one of them will trade their first round pick.
Okay. Write this down.
Write this down.
I think one of these quarterbacks is going to take a tumble. Like we saw Aaron Rodgers go from maybe being the number 1 pick 20 years ago to falling all the way down into the 20s. Teddy Bridgewater tumbled all the way almost out of the first round.
Will Levis last year.
Will Levis. Malik Willis fell to the 3rd round.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I know that a lot of these mocks are now going all in on like the first 4 picks are going to be quarterbacks. So I will say at least one of, I'll say how do I phrase this? Because if, let's say something crazy happens, like Michael Penix is the 4th quarterback, like the first 4 picks are quarterbacks and it's Penix, but then like May's the one that drops. I will say either J.J. McCarthy or Drake May will fall past the 7th overall pick. So either one of those guys will tumble past the 7th overall pick. Mm-hmm. Which kind of goes against everything that's being mocked right now. That McCarthy's, you're going to have to trade up to 4, trade up to 5 to get McCarthy. But who's to say that one of those guys, teams could still really like those guys and they could fall to 8 or 9.
Who's to say that Pelissero at the end of the day isn't right and that McCarthy goes 2 to Washington and May does tumble?
Yeah, because if that happens, would that mean if it could also mean that like someone trades up to go rescue him at 4 or 5.
Sure.
So this is kind of a long shot, but I just feel like every year we do this where for 3 months quarterbacks just climb up the charts. Will Levis, oh look, it's the morning of the draft and there's a sports book that has him as the favorite to go number 1 or 2 or whatever. It's like, no, that's all just BS.
Just taking your money.
So, okay, those are your write that down predictions here at your accountability session.
Write that down.
The only show in America that actually has the stones to keep track of our predictions.
You go, Sam Cassell.
That's right. The grapefruits. The big grapefruits.
And then you get hurt doing it.
And then you sprain your hip or whatever. So, okay, quickly here, quarterback watch.
Green 18! Green 18!
2024. I think Deck sent this to us yesterday. We didn't have a chance to get to it, but Jeremy Fowler put together this epically long article. It's NFL draft quarterback tiers. Scouts and executives stack the 11 quarterbacks in order and in different tiers. So Jeremy went around and talked to NFL executives, scouts, and coaches. I'm trying to see how many he talked to. I don't think he specified. But he talked to a bunch of different people that work high up in NFL organizations. And he asked them a bunch of questions about all the quarterbacks. I'll quickly give you the rankings and the tiers, but what's more interesting is he put together most frequent scout and executive comps for each quarterback. So I think that's the fun part of this exercise. Like tier 1 is Caleb Williams. Tier 2, Jaden Daniels and Drake May. Tier 2.5 is J.J. McCarthy. Tier 3, Michael Penix, Bo Nix. And then tier 4, Spencer Rattler, Michael Pratt from Tulane, Joe Milton III from Tennessee. Tier 5 is Jordan Travis, Sam Hartman, Notre Dame quarterback with the great hair.
Yeah.
So those are the rankings. But let's go through the comps. So if this quarterback were to pan out to their 90th percentile, what quarterback in the current NFL landscape would they be? Caleb Williams, most frequent scout executive comp is. Have you guys seen this or no?
I did not look at it, no.
Okay. Take a guess.
I have not.
Who would you guess that's the NFL scouts and executives are comparing Caleb Williams to? Current NFL quarterback.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Patrick Mahomes.
Judd?
Ooh, that's an interesting one because he is a high
Prospect.
Highfalutin prospect. You know what? I'll agree with Declan.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers. So just kind of the ability, I think, because Rodgers is so great at just quick, like flicks the ball wherever he wants, 20, 30 yards down the field. And Caleb has a lot of that, like quick twitch.
Okay.
He can just kind of get a throw off. I mean, Mahomes does too. Okay, Jaden Daniels, there is no clear consensus on the most frequent comp. It's kind of all over the place. Drake May. There's two frequent scout executive comps for Drake May. One of them is Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah, I have seen that.
With a little bit less arm strength than Josh Allen.
Yep.
The other one is Carson Wentz.
Oh.
Some accuracy issues. Well, it's funny because early in Wentz's career before the injury, I mean, he was like an MVP candidate.
Yep, before he got, yep, you're right.
But athletic, big athletic with just some kind of crazy to his game. J.J. McCarthy, take a guess. There's two of them. Most frequent comps, there's two.
J.J. McCarthy.
Kirk Cousins, 1.
Yep. But if you're getting a cheaper, younger Kirk Cousins,
right?
Okay. Well,
Joe Burrow.
Nope.
I don't know who's the other one.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy.
okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just a guy that can sit, operate a car, throw the ball around.
Yeah, top 5 quarterback.
Michael Penix. There's two comps on Michael Penix.
Ooh. Because he's trying to.
Tua. Lefty.
Two is one of them.
Okay,
100%.
yeah, that's
Yep.
a good one. That's a good one.
The other one is not left-handed. They're saying he's Tua, but with a better arm than Tua.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're both kind of athletic, but no, not.
Russell Wilson?
Nope.
Herbert?
Nope. You're kind of sniffing around. Jordan Love.
Okay.
Jordan Love. So like pretty athletic, can get out, do some things. And then I'll give you one more. Bo Nix. To guess.
Dan
There's
Orlovsky.
two of them.
Jared Goff.
Not Dan Orlovsky. Not Jared Goff. That's a good guess though.
Kevin O'Connell.
Disrespectful.
I mean, it didn't work out, did it?
Daniel Jones.
You guys are so disrespectful. Jimmy Garoppolo and Andy Dalton.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have got
And people, of course, are going to hear Andy Dalton and be like, "Oh, he's garbage." But Andy Dalton was pretty good for 6 or 7 years. Playoff caliber quarterback.
I'd say. Yeah.
They never won a playoff game, and then just Spencer Rattler is Sam Howell and Will Levis, which I mean, Sam Howell, I know he put up some yards, but he takes ridiculous amounts of sacks and throws picks.
Well, in fairness, that's a comp to two guys that are at best works in progress still too.
Yes.
Like we don't know what they are.
Yeah, we don't even really know. Like when someone says he's Will Levis, it's like, okay, is that's
like saying
awful
he's like Jerry down the street from me. You're like, I don't know who Jerry is. It's like, oh, okay.
Michael Pratt is Aiden O'Connell or Jake Browning. Joe Milton III is Ryan Mallett or Josh Freeman. Oh man.
Well, why doesn't it just say won't make it? Don't.
Well, that's what they're telling you. That's why they're in tier 4.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Travis in tier 5 is Tyler Huntley. So just a backup. And then poor Sam Hartman is being comped to CJ Beathard and Nate Sudfeld.
Oh.
Sam Hart. Oh, but hair.
Way better hair than
But
either
the
CJ
quaff.
Beathard or Nate Sudfeld.
That dude has that dude is he's got the look of a quarterback.
Yes. So okay, there's your update.
That's
from
a guy you could take clubbing. Sam Hartman, you could take him clubbing. Wingman, big time. Sammy boy.
he can just be like the light that all the bugs are attracted to.
Exactly.
And then you
You're just like, hey, what's going on?
stand over there. And then it's been a few days since this was released. But the Ringer put out an updated mock draft late last week. And let's just go through this real quick. They've got Caleb Williams going to the Bears. Commanders take Jaden Daniels. Patriots take Drake May. And then we have a trade for the number 4 pick, where the Minnesota Vikings are now on the clock. They have switched spots with the Arizona Cardinals. And they send the 11, the 23, and a 2025 third rounder.
Yep.
Dude, if you can do that and not give up your first rounder next year and get the quarterback that you really like, J.J. McCarthy in this case. So there's a big write-up here that just kind of explains how it actually ends by saying that Minnesota will be asking McCarthy to do his best Brock Purdy impression by just driving the vehicle. Then it looks like they have the Cardinals then moving back from 11 up to 5 with the Chargers. Classic Monty Ossenfort.
Yeah.
Money.
6 different phones. Yeah.
Yeah. Get a third. Get a fourth. Okay.
So there's you got Mel Kiper yesterday saying Vikings moving up to 5. You got the Ringer saying Vikings moving up to 4 here.
I want a mock.
That's kind of where we're at, boys. Interesting times. By the way, that mock draft presented by our friends over at Nicolay Law. Nicolay Law. You may have seen a billboard or 2 or 3 around the Twin Cities area with our guy Russ on the YouTube channel. You can see him. He's always just walking through US Bank Stadium.
Yep. That's what he does.
Looking to help people that have gotten into unexpected accidents. But Nicolay Law is the exclusive personal injury law firm of Purple Daily. And they know that when you get into an unexpected accident, life can get pretty complicated. They are here to help you navigate. They know how life is like in the Twin Cities because they are one of us. They are from the community here. So you can find out more by going to nicolaylaw.com or give them a call at 1-855-NICOLAY. That's nicolaylaw.com or 1-855-NICOLAY. And remember, the Fillmore, it's sold out. And so we appreciate any of you that can, if you're going to go, awesome. If you're going to go and you're a VIP, by the way, you're going to get a popcorn sample bag, thanks to our friends at Popcorn in Minnetonka. And you're going to get a Purple Daily flag courtesy of Popcorn. If you're unable to make it because the event is sold out, we've got a couple other fun little things happening in and around night 1 of the draft. Fulton Brewing from 5 to 7 o'clock, or I should say 3 to 7 o'clock, is hosting a pre-draft party happy hour on that Thursday, April 25th, with a special appearance by Vikings quarterback legend Tommy Kramer, who will be on hand to connect with fans from 5 to 7. So jump in there, grab yourself a beer, a seltzer, take a look at the awesome full menu at Fulton. But we appreciate Fulton for helping to welcome Purple Daily and Vikings fans in the hours leading up to the event at the Fillmore on April 25th. So stop by. All right, boys. How are we feeling? A week away from the draft here. I can feel the tension. People are anxious.
I told you. I'm ducking right now. I'm ducking. because there's just so much flying around. This happens every year, every single year. Like everything that a month ago was not certain, but sort of stabilized is now craziness, right? So, but I mean, this whole thing has been so much fun because, yeah, as much as there's some anxiety about the uncertainty, like how many times are we going to be in a position to be consistently talking about the team that we discuss on a daily basis, like potentially trading up to the third, fourth, or fifth pick?
I know.
It's been a lot of fun.
I know. Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, what a time to be a Vikings fan right now. And then whoever they draft, sometimes like mini camps and OTAs, especially when you have a 35-year-old veteran quarterback. There's not, he kind of is who he is. But the off-season practices and workouts and training camp and preseason games are so much more fun when you're watching with sort of a scouting eye, right? Like, is this young quarterback progressing? Is he throwing a bunch of picks in practice? Is he dissecting?
Yep.
It's been a while since we've been able to do that.
KO stopping practice to correct just the smallest things, tweaks here and there.
Footwork.
On the way to the 2026 Lombardi Trophy.
Oh, we can dream. We can dream. And that's what we want on the show. We just want the Vikings to win us, whether it's 2026, whether it's 2025, whatever. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die on this show. We will see you guys for a Thursday episode tomorrow.